I'm definitely a perfectionist, so if everything is going really, really well, but maybe one thing is not, that's all I focus on. I believe that perfection is not a real thing, but the pursuit of perfection certainly is. When I started kombucha, there was no such thing. I believe that kombucha would not be where it is if it wasn't for those humble beginnings that I experienced in the 90s. And over the 25 years that I've been making raw kombucha, we really have paved the way. You actually feel like the world is on your shoulders. It's rare that I feel that I am on top of the world. I am a creative person, and I am not your typical entrepreneur. I'm not your typical businessman. I see the world through a very different lens. I believe when you color outside the lines, you really give yourself permission to be different and to celebrate that difference. There's only one cook in this kitchen. I was raised in Bel Air, went to private school in Beverly Hills. My parents, at a very early age in my life, took me to India to see a holy man named Sai Baba. Through that journey, I was exposed to more of an Eastern way of living and thinking, and then subsequently eating. It was certainly the polar opposite of being in Los Angeles, where everything is about physical appearance and materialistic things. It was more about your purpose, what contribution you're making in the world, how you are helping people. My parents believed that food could be your medicine as well as your poison. It was in the early 90s that a friend turned them on to a kombucha culture. And then they started to share it with friends and family, and then I started to notice that people loved it, but then would always come back and be like, so it was hard to make it myself, how about I just buy it from you guys? And that was the first kind of cue that kombucha was very special, and that although people didn't really know what it was, they were really gravitating to it. And then the second is when my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. And then it helped my mother, and that was just like, the clouds parted and I had this like vision of this needs to be shared with the world. That's what I decided to do. And then from there it just grew. The positive word of mouth, the love and affinity that people started to have for what kombucha is and what it represents became the driving force within me. There are times where it feels lonely, where health and wellness has become quite the gold rush, that you have a lot of people and companies entering the space with one purpose only, and that's to make a lot of money. And they'll cut corners, they'll disparage you, they'll step on you, they'll demonize you, they'll do all these things to advance themselves, and they do leave the industry and the category pretty damaged. So what unfortunately is happening currently in the market is you're seeing kombucha trying to become a new age soda, which is just a sparkling, flavored something. And as long as I'm alive, I'm gonna fight that with every fiber in my being, because kombucha is the opposite of that. It's frustrating. It's kind of like watching a world that you created slowly catch on fire. And you're just hoping that it's not gonna just torch everything. But it does keep me up at night, I must admit.